Good morning and welcome back to Keto Living with Dale and Judith. Today's video is keto food prep. I'm totally out of my English muffins and my coffee. So let's go ahead and preheat the oven to 350 degrees and start brewing some coffee. I want to shred some cheese so I can get this counter cleared for some more projects. And I have two different types of cheeses today. Mozzarella for pizza. And if you watched our most recent video about making pizza, I explained typically you buy part skim mozzarella, but you can also buy whole milk mozzarella. And whole milk mozzarella has less net carbs than part skim. It's because it has more fat, but it's also going to have more calories. So know the difference. This is part skim because this time I wanted to buy organic. I also have cheddar. We use that for salads, tacos, nachos, those types of things. I like to pick sharp cheddar because it adds more flavor and you can use less. You can buy it pre-shredded, and I used to do that when we first started keto, but it has added bulking, anti-caking agents. Those can add what we call hidden carbs. So do what's best for you. I just like to shred it myself. It's more work, but through the years, we've tweaked how we eat keto. I like to put the cheddar in individual baggies so that we can just leave one in the fridge until it's used up. And the mozzarella can go in a gallon baggie because I only use that for pizza and I just measure out the amount that I need. Now be aware that each cheese has different numbers of net carbs. So you need to either have a food list or use some type of app. And for us, we use Carb Manager. It's designed specifically for keto and low-carb diets. I always pick what's called the common food entry, not brand entries. Brand entries will either round net carbs up or down. So for example, it has to be a common food like cheese. Go ahead and pick the common food entry. Of course, if it's something like that's a brand name, like keto crackers, then you have to pick a brand because there's no common food equivalent for that. You need to make a whole video explaining that. Altogether, I'm going to brew 3 pots of coffee. 1 pot will give me 3 servings. And when it's cool, I'll add my coconut milk. 1 can will make 3 servings of coffee. And never refill the glass carafe with water for your second pot because the hot glass is going to crack. Now let's make the English muffins because the oven is ready. This is a high fiber keto bread, so it's your first time eating it. Just eat a little and see how your body responds. It needs to cook 45 minutes to puff up and stay puffed up. If you don't cook it long enough, it's going to puff up and then deflate. And you can make a variety of shapes and sizes with this bread. I have found this is the best and easiest for me. Next, it's Dale's breakfast time. Then I'll come back and finish the keto prep. I prefer to package them in individual baggies so I can just pull one out in the morning to thaw. Now, someone asked me to show how you can split them. I'm lazy and I just prefer to freeze them whole and then pop them in the toaster. And I tend to just cut them up and mix them with oil or coffee. But you can split them and then freeze them. You're going to take a fork and you're going to score it all the way around the English muffin. And then gently pull it apart. Now, a regular English muffin is a dry bread, and this is moist. They're not exactly the same. Most keto breads are a moist bread. From frozen, you can just pop those in the toaster, but if it's already thawed, I think it's best to toast them flat. And put a piece of parchment paper between the halves before you freeze them. Now remember the tortillas we recently made with almond protein powder? Today we're going to make chips. Trying to make them like these Hilo Life chips because we can't buy these anymore. I studied their ingredients to give me some ideas. Because recently I've been using Dale's Tortillas to make chips. While the oil is warming up, let's go ahead and unmold some bone broth. These super cube silicone trays are great for keto prep. I have a variety of sizes. I have the 1/2 cup size, 1 cup size, the 2 cup size, and the 2 tablespoon size. I try to have 1 cup of bone broth every day. It's good for my arthritis. It helps my joints. It's also good for your gut health. Now, you can make chips with shredding up some cheddar cheese or Colby and microwaving it on a paper plate. I have a video showing you how to do this. And you microwave it until it's brown. And after it cools, it becomes crispy and you can break it apart into chips. I did that for many, many years. I also used it to make taco shells. Then Quest invented chips. And now Atkins also has chips. And we used Quest for a few years. Both of those are made with milk protein powder, and they're very dry. They can really just suck all the moisture out of your mouth. But those might be good options for you. They're available at many stores like Walmart. But Dale really doesn't like them. I'm allergic to milk too. Then we found the Hilo Life chips, and those were perfect. Really the closest thing to real tortilla chips, but unfortunately they don't make them anymore. So my goal is to recreate them. So here are my tortillas, and we're going to cut them up into triangles. If the chips need to cool, then I can baggie them up. The goal is they'll stay crispy. I have a few ideas. These have had to cook until they're really brown to get crispy. So the tortillas need a little bit of tweaking. Next, we need to refill Dale's morning hot chocolate and his marshmallows. For candies, chocolates, jams, this is the brand that we prefer. They use resistant dextrin and monk fruit as sweeteners. But like any keto sweeteners, you need to know your individual limits. Because remember, chocolates, candies, cookies, desserts, even though they're keto, you still need to limit them. They don't need to be your main keto food. We're out of the mini marshmallows, but I have the regular size marshmallows. So 5 mini marshmallows is equivalent to 1 big marshmallow. Now I need to make taco meat. I'm going to do it at the same time that I make gelatin. And it's simple and easy. I've showed you once before. It's going to be clear, and a variety of flavors of Zevia are going to be used. So we're going to make grape. And we're going to make orange. And we're going to make cran raspberry. And add a pinch of salt to each, along with 1.5 tablespoons of gelatin. This is a good brand, and I tend to refill this container. This is also a good brand. I just like this because it's easy to pour. 2 cans will fit in 1 box, and Dale really enjoys this. It's a 0 carb treat, and I like that there's no fake coloring and a lot less chemical than box Jello. these all need to cool before I put them in the fridge. I don't do half hot liquid and half cold liquid. I just do all hot. It just saves time. The taco meat is simmering for about 30 minutes. Then we'll take off the lid and let the liquid reduce. Store it and freeze it. This is Dale's favorite meal, tacos. Three pounds of beef is going to make 12 servings, about half a cup. Now I want to warn you about taco seasoning. You know those packets? That's what I grew up using. Most, well actually all that I've found have sugar and starch added. They have something in there to thicken it. So don't use those packets. Make your own. Most of the carbs from this taco meat are going to come from the onions. That's another reason I don't add any garlic. I don't want to add those little bit more net carbs. And be careful when you eat out like at a buffet. That taco meat is also going to have some kind of thickener and sugar in it. So it's not going to be like plain meat, so be careful. Know and test your blood sugar. If you don't have any other options, I get it. Meat like chicken or beef fajitas would be a better option than taco meat, like in taco salad. The morning coffee is cool, so let's add the coconut milk, the stevia, and the hazelnut oil. Then we're going to put them in the fridge and have them ready for our mornings. Let's chill the gelatin, and then keto prep for today is done. Prepping takes time, but it's important for me and Dale. It helps us to stick to and be faithful to our keto diet and not go off and gain weight or raise Dale's blood sugar. It's really important for us. Thank you for visiting Keto Living with Dale and Judith. See you later. Bye-bye.